When it rains, it pours for the San Francisco 49ers as they fall in embarrassing fashion to the Packers on the road in a game that they had to win. And everything went wrong that could have went wrong. And it was just an unfortunate performance. And we all had to sit through it and just kind of grit our teeth and watch it play out and unravel right in front of our eyes. But with the way the NFC West has played out, the San Francisco 49ers still remain one game back of first place. So, what does this mean for them? Adam Schefter takes like a kind of like an inventory of where the 49ers are currently at and kind of gives his feeling on what they can do to move forward. Take a listen to Adam Schefter on the Pat McAfee Show.
What is the story over there? I know you have connections with everybody in the league, but the Niners are certainly one. They look different this year. Not saying that the Packers aren't good. Packers are a great football team. We certainly believe that. But that was ugly without Purdy. When's Purdy back? What's the conversation about the Niners' future right now?
The whole year, to me, has felt off with them. And it wasn't like it just happened late, but there have been a series of incidents that they've had to overcome throughout where it just felt like it was never going to be their year. That's how I felt all along. Now, you keep waiting. You keep waiting to see if at some point with the talent that they do have, if they can find a way to turn it around. That's the interesting part of all this, but it hasn't happened yet. And it's getting late. And you look at the division and the standings, they are one game back. Now, they haven't won a game in their division, so that's going to be a problem. But they are only one game back of Seattle. So, again, can they turn it on here and find a way to win? They haven't played well enough to be able to do that so far. They've had too many injuries to be able to do that so far. You talk about yesterday and going into Green Bay with Brandon Allen at quarterback. Here's the schedule. Tough game Sunday night. Week 14, the Bears.
Tough team.
At home. Yeah. 15, home Rams. At Miami. Detroit. Good luck there. Maybe the Lions have everything wrapped up. At Arizona.
2 weeks.
Again, the Niners, they just have not played consistent enough football. They have not played good enough football to make you think right now that they can go and turn it around. Now, again, maybe the switch will go on and they'll show everybody that they are as good as they were last year. The problem is, like when they go into that game yesterday, the defensive line that they lined up against the Packers in the NFC divisional playoff game 10 months ago was entirely different. This defense this year has been different. They haven't gotten the pressure that they've needed. They haven't gotten the turnovers that they've needed. They haven't come through with the big plays that they've needed. And when you introduce all the other injuries that have come along, you're missing George Kittle 1 week. You're missing Brandon Ayuk all year. Christian McCaffrey's not back till later. Brock Purdy's out yesterday. You know, in this margin of error is so small that it just feels like all the goodwill they've had in recent years has run out this year. Just the way that it's felt. Now, again, they've got 6 or so games to turn it around. We'll see if they can do it. And it's getting late early there.
Okay, so you talk about all the good football god juju going towards the team and then feeling like it's not at a place. We had a similar feeling about the Vikings a couple of years back, where the one season they were like 11-0 in one-score games, and then the next season, Kirk Cousins last year, they were like 0-8 in one-score games. It's like, damn, feels like the football gods blessed them all last year and not so much this year.
I will correct Adam and say the 49ers did get a win against the Seattle Seahawks, but they have also lost to every team in the division. That is true. And I don't know. It's just a weird situation right now because the NFC West is so unbelievably mid right now, which also includes the San Francisco 49ers. And you know, it's a tough situation to be in because they don't feel like, just like Adam had said, that they just don't feel like they got it. They just don't feel like mentally, emotionally, they're there. It feels like this season has been a huge emotional letdown after what last season was, which was an insane emotional letdown. And it just keeps piling. You go into these ridiculous contract negotiations for the entire summer with both Brandon Ayuk and Trent Williams. Then that bleeds basically into the season. You get no break from it, and boom, the season starts. And then they just start doing their fourth quarter 10-point lead loss thing that is becoming a staple of this regime under Kyle Shanahan. And that's just unfortunate. It's, it's to me, it's avoidable. I think the 49ers are a better team than what they're showing. But at the end of the day, you are what your record says you are, and they're not a good team right now. And does and it's a weird spot to be in because they're not a good team, yet their playoff hopes are still somewhat alive. I've seen a bunch of different numbers and statistics that range from, 15% to 11% chances that the 49ers still have a shot to make the playoffs. But I think, the common theme that I keep hearing from 49ers fans is like, what's the point to get one and done in the playoffs? Because unfortunately, that's just how they're playing. Like, we can be honest, we can be hopeful, we can be optimistic, but if the obviously the Packers game is a hard game to use as a litmus test because they were down literally half of their starters. So it's hard to use that game to be like, oh, well, this is, an outlier or whatever. But the point being is this team has been playing like that all season. You know, they've been missing tackles. They have been stalling out on drives. They have been making boneheaded mistake after boneheaded mistake. And it's a tough spot to be in as a 49er fan. It's a tough spot to be in with like trying to rationalize where this team is. Like, because again, on one hand, they still have like 1 foot in the door of potentially making the playoffs. They have to win out and do the improbable. And it's tough because the feeling and the vibe around the team is not good. And it hasn't been good. And that dates back to training camp. And it's weird year. Weird year. I guess, they say, Super Bowl hangover. Yeah, I would say this feels like a Super Bowl hangover. 100% feels like those emotions and feelings never left this team, and they just kind of rolled into the season. And everyone seems exhausted. Everyone seems mentally drained, and I don't blame them. First of all, like, that's normal. I think that's to be expected, and it's an unfortunate, symptom of losing the Super Bowl like they did. And I think we all feel it as fans, but of course, more importantly, they feel it as players, they feel it as staff. And it's a hard thing to overcome. And I think we're just seeing that. We're seeing that the ball isn't bouncing their way. We're seeing that the calls aren't going their way. And they're not performing to their standard. All those things mixed together just makes for a down season. So I don't know. How are you guys feeling about this? I'm feeling pretty sick about it. I don't feel good right now. I don't feel good about where the 49ers currently stand. I don't feel good about how they're playing. I don't feel good about a lot right now. So um, you know, obviously if they go on a run, that can change things, but it feels like the majority of the fan base and everyone in the football universe have counted the 49ers out. But will the 49ers count themselves out is the question. We're going to have to wait and see. We got 6 more games left this season to see how they respond. So I don't know. You guys let me know what you think in the comments below. And as always, make sure to like and subscribe for more updates.